Hey, it is 2 p.m. and it is time once again for us to go live here at the Fruit of the Vine Art Studios Halloween Bash. Are you ready for our 2 p.m. craft? I know I am. But first, let's talk about this new craft that I have. What do we think of this? Look here, I'm going to show it to you. Ooh, that is my leaf lantern. And if you would like to get the instructions on how to make this leaf lantern, all you have to do is comment and I will send you a PM and we will get the information sent to you right away. This is the leaf lantern and you can make one too. It's so very simple. Just let me know if you're interested. And now, let's get on with our 2 p.m. craft, the napkin rock. Out that goes. Okay, let me tilt you up here for a moment. Are you ready for this craft? I know I am. And here we go. If you comment, I am going to send you one of our dream catchers. So far we've given away 2 today. We've given one away at noon to our friend Lauren, who spread us a loving heart. And then at 1 p.m. we've given one away to Nancy Combs for giving us a big thumbs up. And that's all you need to do is to be the first one to give me a reaction. And even better, be the first to give me a comment and you'll get another prize. And now, it's time to turn on the lights and get on with our 2 p.m. craft. So here we go. Thank you. It's Janet with Fruit of the Vine Art Studio. Thank you for joining me once again. It's 2 p.m. Here we go. Let me turn on this light right here. All right. And now, if you were with me at noon, you were here while we made Not So Scary Harry. And we had a person who shared a little love with us. And that Lauren has now won one of our dream catchers for giving us a reaction. So, if you like what we're doing here, show us a little love. Give us a little reaction. Let us know, and you just might get your own dream catcher too. Oh, and then, what happened at 1 p.m.? At 1 p.m., we got to make this adorable little blackhead with 2 sides on it. And you can make your this side any way you want. And then we've got this beautiful glittery side right here. And you can just sit that on the shelf next to your adorable little Not So Scary Harry tonight when the Halloween trick-or-treaters come by. You can have those sitting out, and that's going to look so cute outside your house. Okay, for those that got the kit, we're getting ready now to create our napkin rock. And I've put out all of my Halloween napkin rocks this week. If you've been watching, then you know. I've been all over the place this week putting rocks all places. Not just parks either. I even put one out at a presidential's tomb. But if you watch those videos, you'll get clues on areas where I am and where I put out my rocks. Now, this week I will be putting out this Spider-Man rock. And it's really neat too. If you look, you'll see that it's got sparkly eyes and sparkles on it too. And I'm going to put that out at one of our parks. Now, it might be a great park of Hamilton County. It might be one of the local Cincinnati parks. It could possibly be over in Kentucky. I might be over on the east side of town. I might be over on the west side of town. You never know, but I'm going to go live, and I'm going to give you a clue and let you know which park I'm at when I put this out this week. But for now, it's time to make the Simply Bewitched rock, okay? So if you've got your kit, then it's time to get out your napkin, and if you haven't already, I want you to take your scissors, and I want you to cut out just one little square of your napkin, okay? That's the first thing I want you to do. Cut your napkin, just one little square, because we're only going to use one piece of it today. Now you can make as many rocks as you like. There's 4 squares on that napkin, so if you want to make 4 rocks, you can do that. But I only sent you the one in the kit, so you'll have to go get your own rocks for the rest of them. But you'll probably have enough white paint in that kit to go ahead and do it. So if you get more rocks, please feel free to make more napkin rocks and put them out and just let people find them. Give them to your friends. Doesn't matter. Fun to do. Okay, so let's see. The first thing we're going to do is we need to paint our rock. Okay, I didn't send anybody a painted rock. I sent everybody just a plain old river rock. It has been scrubbed. I didn't send you a dirty old muddy one. It's been scrubbed, but the first thing we need to do is to paint it. So, first thing I want you to do is get out that white paint. And I'm going to shake mine a little bit and put some on this plate for myself. And you're going to get your sponge brush. I think I'm going to use this one right here. Get your sponge brush. And we're going to tilt this down to where you can see what we're doing now. Here we go. We're getting ready for our craft. We're going to start by taking the white paint, and we're only going to paint one side of the rock. Now, the first thing you should probably do is to take your napkin and determine which way is the best way to get the most of this napkin to show up on the rock. And it seems to me if I turn it this way, that's going to pretty much have all of this napkin showing on here, I think, just like that. So maybe I should just paint this side. You also want to determine what's the flattest side. Is the other side any flatter? If it is, well then maybe you want to take the napkin and look at that side and see if maybe it'd be easier to put your napkin on that particular side of the rock. It may. Like this would fit quite well right here also. But in this particular rock, I've already determined that this is the flattest side. So I'm going to paint this side. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is paint the rock. That's the first thing that you have to do. So let's get our white paint and our sponge brush, and let's just put a layer of white on our rock. Now you can see it's just a nice layer. It doesn't have to be real thick. Don't worry about it. What we're wanting is, because the napkin is so thin when you put it on, if the rock doesn't have the white base coat on it, the napkin just doesn't show up as well. You do not have to paint the rock white at all if you don't want to. Or if you have a white rock, then you don't have to paint it at all. It will show up. If you don't want to paint it, you don't have to. It just will not be, it will not be as bright looking. It won't pop as well, I guess is the best way to put it. So we're going right there. I'm going to put just a little bit more on there. I'd like it to have a little bit more of a white color. Oh, that's better. There we go. Now, that's enough of that for now. So, while that's drying, I'm going to put my brush over here and get that white out of it, because that's the only paint we're using with this whole craft. It's just that white paint, so there's no need to let your brush be a mess at this point. It's time to wipe your brush off. So, now of course these are those sponge brushes, so they're going to hold the water quite well. Be careful, don't make a huge mess all over the house. Keep your fingers above the little water cup and squeeze the water back into the cup. Don't squeeze it all over the paper. Squeeze it back in the cup. And then you're going to take your napkin that came, or your paper towel that came with it, your towelette, and you are going to squeeze as much of that out of there as you can because you are going to be using this brush. You're going to use it with your Mod Podge when it comes time to put it on the rock. Okay, so you do need to use this brush again. You want to get it and try to get absolutely as much of the water out of it because Mod Podge is already, really what Mod Podge is, it's a thin down glue. So if you're adding a wetter amount, if you're adding more water to that Mod Podge, then it might not stick as well to your rock. You don't want it to have too much extra water because it's already thinned down. So squeeze out as much as you can out of that rock. And right now we can see that it's drying. We need for that to dry before we can go any further also. But we do have something else that we can do. Now, if you're at home and you've got this sparkly Mod Podge, this extra glittery Mod Podge, I would advise putting that on as a top layer, not at the bottom. You can, it's not going to be that much of a difference, but if you use just the regular matte or the regular gloss, then it's going to make it easier for the napkin to stick without little bumps under it because quite really the glitter is in this, and when you put it on there as the base coat, then the napkin's laying on top of pieces of glitter. So it makes it not lay quite as flat, and you're more likely to have air bubbles that are going to show up on your rock. So I advise if you like this extreme glitter, I like it myself. Actually, I really love it. I put it on a lot of things. But for your base coat, we're going to use just regular Mod Podge. Doesn't matter if it's glossy. Doesn't matter if it's matte. We're going to use matte. Okay? So we'll put that extreme glitter off to the side for now. We're going to move our rock over just for a second. And I hope that you've got your napkin cut out at this point. Okay? Because we're ready to go with this portion. So what we have to do now before we can put it on our rock is there are layers behind every napkin. So before we can go further, we have to get this stripped down to the very top layer. Okay? And if you look at this, well, there's one right there. That came off pretty easy. Sometimes finding the next layer can be really hard, but I can see by looking at the back, it still doesn't have a dark enough look. It's still not the top layer. I can see also here on the side, this little opening right there. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to peel it so easy. Because if you give it a good jerk, it might just rip your napkin. But we're going to peel the back of it off. Now you can see what I'm talking about now. See how that looks on the back? We're down to the one layer at this point. I'm going to take it off very simply. And if it gets stuck and it looks like it's trying to rip it, just turn and go at it from a different angle. And that usually can work you right back over to that spot where it's sticky. And you'll be able to just simply get it to lift off. Very simple like that. Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? Okay. Now, let me see. Next, we're going to put this napkin onto the rock. Now, as we spoke, that quickly, look, I want you to notice, that quickly, the rock is dried. Now, it does have a little bit of white residue on it. My fingers are sort of dirty. You can see the whites all around them anyway. But my rock is dry now, so it's time to go ahead and put the napkin on. So now, what did I say before? We need to determine which is the best way to get the napkin to sit on here because we want all of the wording, and I'd really like to get that hat, and I really kind of like that moon to show up too. So if I bring the B over here to this side of the rock, I can see that it's going to get all of this area. Is it going to get all of the moon? Well, it's going to get most of the moon. What about down here? Okay, well, it looks like maybe I can take it down this way a little bit. And now I've got more of the moon, less of the hat. What if I turn it this way a little bit? Oh my. I think that might just be the spot. There's usually a sweet spot on that rock where you can get just about everything to show up. So now I don't want to move it and then forget exactly where I had it placed. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it sitting right there. And I'm going to shake my Mod Podge. And I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dip it in this Mod Podge. And we're going to put a thin layer. We're not going to put a great big thick layer. We don't want a big old thick layer. We want a thin layer of the Mod Podge on the rock, okay? We're just going to get some on our brush. Now, it's in that brush. There's a whole bunch in that brush. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to hold it right here. And I'm going to fold this over in half just like that. And I'm going to hold it just like this. Okay? And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to put that thin layer of Mod Podge right on the top of this rock. Just like that. Quick and simple. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it right back down. Take my hands and I'm going to smooth it onto the rock. Almost like magic. It sticks to the rock. And the more I touch that and press down, the more the air bubbles will come out. But I don't want to press really hard and rip my paper, so I must use like mummy fingers, lightly touching and tapping on the rock to get it to stick just perfectly. See how that works? Little mummy fingers. All right, now it's time to do the other half. Gently lift it up like you're unwrapping that mummy one layer at a time. All right, and we're going to once again dip in to the Mod Podge. And we're going to get us a little layer of it. Just a little bitty layer of it. And we're going to rub it on the rock again real quick, just like that. Just one thin layer of that Mod Podge. And then we're going to take that and lay it there, and we're going to just let it fold over once again. And mummy finger it. There we go. We're pressing it in. We're just like, ooh, you can see the wrinkle. Wrinkle, wrinkle, go away. I shall press you into oblivion. Ooh, with my mummy finger technique. There it goes. See how we can read the whole rock now just by doing that? Oh my, wasn't that simply bewitching? I can't help myself. I enjoy making rocks so much. Now we need to turn it over and lay it down. And we're going to continue with our Mod Podge. We're going to take it and we're going to just like stipple it right along the edges right there. And maybe a little across the back. About over here, right across this side. And just like that. And we're going to gently pick this up, hold it flat in our hand, and using this brush, we're going to push that napkin right onto this rock. Just like magic. Will you look at that? It's sticking right onto it. And then if you have to, you put a little glob right in there and take that mummy finger and mummy finger it down. Press it, press it. Sometimes you gotta use a full witchy finger. Press it in. Don't let that wrinkle be in the way. Don't ever worry about wrinkles. They're not worth your time. Just press them down. Ooh, don't you just love these witchy things? Don't you, Brunhilda? Are you here? I hear her. She's speaking. She's so quiet today. Oh my. There now. I want you to look at this. When we flip it over, there it is. And we have made our napkin rock. It's on the back, and it's on the front, and it's all around the side. Now it does need to dry. Oh my, Look, we have a visitor. Oh my, you need a shave, Brunhilde. Look at you.
It was the potion splashed out of the cauldron. I'm so ashamed.
You should have shaved, you hairy old thing, you. Back down to the rock. Back down to the rock. All right, guys. Now is when you need to decide, are you going to put a layer on the top, or are you going to just keep it in the house? Actually, I advise that you put a layer of the Mod Podge on the top of the rock. If you've got something that you can set it on while it dries, then you should try something along that line. Like if I take my lid and I could sit it there while the back of it dries, just like that. That way it holds it up a little bit and it gives the back of it time to get good and dried so that it sticks real well. And I can see like little spots right here that I need to press in with my fingers. Okay, so we are going to put a layer on the top. On this one, I am going to put some extreme glittery Mod Podge. I will be putting this out this week too, even though Halloween is over. That's all right. I don't care. I'm still going to put this out this week for someone to find, because I think they're still going to like it even if it isn't Halloween. So, I'm just taking the Mod Podge. Since I was only in regular Mod Podge, I don't really have to worry about now mixing the glittery stuff into my regular Mod Podge. I'm just going to be able to dip right into the glittery Mod Podge. I'm going to put that on the top of the glittery Mod Podge's lid. And I'm going to close my regular Mod Podge. And I'm going to move straight into this, because this regular Mod Podge is not going to hurt the glittery one. It's okay if a little bit of regular Mod Podge gets in there, because in the first place, it's regular Mod Podge with a big glob of glitter in it. So, here we go. We're going to stick our little sponge brush down in there, and then we're just going to put a layer right on the top of it. Now, you want to make sure that you get it all around these edges on the sides of that napkin, so that it's got a nice shiny layer on it. And that way, when you put it out and the sun shines on it, it's gonna sparkle. And whoever finds it's gonna be like, oh wow, can you see all the sparkles on that? They'll be so happy they found this glittery, sparkly rock. And even if you don't put it out and you put it and you keep it yourself, put it up on your shelf. And when the sun shines through the window, you'll see it make all kinds of different sparkles on your rock, and it'll look really cool. Okay, so now there's no need to put glittery Mod Podge on the back. So we're going to stop right there and let that dry. That's all we have to do for this craft. I'm going to clean my brushes, and I'm going to be back at 3 o'clock, and then we are going to paint. At 3 o'clock, we are getting out the paints and the canvas, and we're going to paint Winnie's pumpkins. And that's going to be fun. I hope you'll join me at 3. Okay? Once again, if you're playing along, I think that your paper should be getting dry with your spider web on it. I might have to take my hairdryer to mine. You may have to take the hairdryer to yours too. But we still got a few hours. It's not that late yet. We've still got another craft. That's right. We are going to paint that Winnie's pumpkin. And while we do that, then that thing can dry. So, have you done your pumpkin head yet? Your block head? Look how cute that turned out. Do-do-do-do-do. I like it, don't you? And then, how about this? Did you create your not-so-scary Harry? There he is. We made that at noon. And then, now, our 2 p.m. craft, we've made a sparkly Halloween rock that we can put out for others to find. I am so glad that you joined me for this craft. Once again, I will see you at 3 o'clock, and we will paint Winnie's pumpkins. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
And how's the power on that?